Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Rogue Report. My name is Matt, and today's topic is focused around wrestling. Now, granted, I know a lot of people aren't wrestling fans, so bear with me here. It's just mainly concerns involving SummerSlam. SummerSlam being the first weekend in August, I think that there's a lot of things that is hovering around this show that is happening that is telling me that there's something going on within the WWE where, obviously the creative might be in a little bit of a panic. One of my biggest things here, well, actually, you know what? Let's do this. I'm going to go look at the card. This is the first time that they're actually doing a 2-night SummerSlam. WrestleMania for the past, 5 or so years has been a 2-night event, but this is the first time that SummerSlam is a 2-night event. So for night one listed is for the World Heavyweight Championship, it's Gunther versus CM Punk. Gunther got the title back off of Jay for this match to make sense, I guess, because they couldn't do Jay Uso versus CM Punk, because I guess that wouldn't make sense. I mean, some people have their vices, and I know that, but from what I heard it could have been a little bit of a too much of a drinking problem with Jay. And there was video evidence of that kind of stuff with the way that all the post conferences that he was doing where he kind of looked lit. The one where him and Cody were sitting there telling everybody, we were a little fucked up. Coming down to that match though, I mean, I'm actually really excited for CM Punk and Gunther. I just believe that this was supposed to go a different way, and I don't know if it's still gonna go that way. But we also don't, what is the process here and what was the original process? Because what I have here is what was supposed to happen, or, insider info of maybe this was actually supposed to be the plan all along. And it kind of just reminds you of what happened at Mania 2 years ago when Damian Priest I'm right, but I'm wrong. It was McIntyre versus Seth Rollins. Drew McIntyre beat Seth Rollins, held the championship up for, 5 or so minutes or whatever. And then CM Punk punked him. And then Damian Priest came out, cashed in, and then robbed him blind of the championship. It just immediately transferred back over to fucking Priest, and that was it. I think that that's what they were going to do to Punk. Punk is going to win this match. I think that's kind of obvious that CM Punk is going to win versus Gunther at SummerSlam. Or maybe that's one of the changes that they're making. Maybe they're going to hold out on that happening. But more than likely he will. And what they said was supposed to happen was that Seth was supposed to cash in on an injured CM Punk at SummerSlam, win the title, and basically do the same thing that Priest did to McIntyre. Now, with the WWE and how secretive they are and what their angles are, is you don't want to necessarily take whatever they say for granted. Now, they have worked injuries before, but that one actually seemed legit. To me, at least. For whatever reason, maybe they're just playing it good. Maybe Seth's fucking doing his job. Maybe Triple H is doing his job. But the creative and everybody involved, even the fucking commentators, the cameraman, it could all be a ruse. And that's what the WWE is about. But it's really funny when you have to sit here and go, well, is he injured? Because if he isn't, then that's totally still could happen. And it wouldn't be far-fetched that is still the plan. And they just drew it out to where, let's take Seth out of the picture so nobody's actually expecting this to happen. When his music hits and he walks out in crutches or something, if he still tries to make an appearance, and then he's perfectly fine. If Seth Rollins appears at SummerSlam during that night of that match, I'm pretty sure that would be the main event. Actually, I have no fucking idea what order these are in. If Seth Rollins makes an appearance at SummerSlam, then more than likely that this knee injury will work. Obviously, if it's a real injury, the only other options that I've seen in my own head is the one that doesn't make any goddamn sense at all, is that if Seth's knee injury is so bad that he's going to be gone way too long and they want to use the contract for something else, then they can come up with an idea that, like, what, Seth and Paul Heyman with the fucking... they just take it and basically white out Seth Rollins and put Braun Breaker's name on it or something. That'd be funny, I guess. I don't think they would do that. I think they would do... If it's just going to be the same thing that they were going to do, like, but Punk will have a title run, but as soon as Seth Rollins is healed, he's going to cash in immediately on Punk and win that title. Let's go on with another match here. What else we got going on? We have Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. I'm not really sure what's going on there. Oh, here, okay, and then this nonsense. We have Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. What a couple. And they're fighting Randy Orton and Jelly Roll. Why do they do this? I don't know why they do this, but you can say the same thing about Jelly Roll, about fucking Logan Paul. But within the past couple of years, I feel like Logan Paul has actually solidified himself. Like, I don't even consider him like an influencer or a podcaster. Like, you look at Logan Paul, when you see him on WWE, I kind of like, oh yeah, that's right, he's a wrestler. That doesn't mean, like, just because you might not like him and he's a piece of shit or something like that, that doesn't mean he's a bad wrestler. Hey, he can fucking move. One of the most memorable clips that I can remember is fucking, I think it was on hard cam, it would have been Logan Paul on the right and Ricochet on the left, and they collided in mid-ring. Dope. This whole tag team is actually, this whole thing's been going on for a couple of weeks. They did this whole segment on, like, Jimmy Fallon or Kimmel or whatever, and they tried to fight each other there, busted up the set. It was pretty funny. We have a women's tag team, Judgment Day versus Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. Whatever. Is Charlotte? That's the heel team. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. Or no, that's the face team. Yeah, because of Judgment Day would be the heel. Okay, it's weird. And then there's the cousins of Reigns and Uso versus Breaker and Reed. And I just don't... that whole storyline doesn't make any fucking sense. That's maybe why it doesn't make any sense, is because Seth Rollins isn't injured. Maybe they're playing the whole thing out, and obviously it's a work. Now I'm kind of leaning more towards that it is a work, because it really doesn't make any fucking sense. Neither does this match. Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. I actually have been watching a little bit of that, but does not make any... whatever. Sami fights whoever he wants, I guess. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Again. I don't see Cena losing the title just yet. Do I see Cody beating him and getting it back? Yeah, but also, why? I'm not saying Cody was a bad champion, but Cody also needed to fucking do the heel turn just as much. Like, because that was also said, like, I think that was a thing where they said that was one of the ideas that they had, but somebody was like, what if we turn John? And it was a brilliant idea. Love it. Do it. Anyway, we have Women's World Champion Naomi versus Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley. Anybody in a triple threat match or a fatal fucking four-way, I'm starting to think that Rhea Ripley in particular just might be the best talent in WWE. And her matches with Io Sky the past couple of months have been nothing but spectacular. Their Evolution match was a fucking barn burner. The fucking triple threat match with Rhea, Io, and Bianca at Mania was possibly the best match at Mania. And now we're going to do Naomi, Io, and Rhea. And I'm like, that's gonna be a great fucking match. We're doing this. Oh my god, this match. This has been around. Becky and Lyra. We've done that. I'm done with that. Solo and Jacob. I'm done with that. Dominic versus AJ. Finally, Dominic had recently, a couple days ago, Dominic had a pop for AAA. He showed up in AAA and got fucking everybody pumped. We have the White Six versus DIY versus Street Profits versus Frax versus. Oh, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-way tag team TLC ladder match for the tag team championships. It's so stupid. I do not know who the tag team people are anymore. I really don't. Like, I know who the Wyatt Six are. And DIY is Gargano and Tomas Ciampa. Street Profits, yes. But who the hell is Fraxium? Who the hell is the Motor City Machine Guns? And then obviously Andrade and Rey Fenix are just names. What the fuck is going on? Fix the tag team division already. Jesus Christ. Why did we end on that one? Yeah, exactly. Why did you do this? Put it backwards. Oh, wait, there was more. Oh, no, it's not more. Oh, my God. So the other thing, I guess, that it was revolving around SummerSlam to make me think that SummerSlam might just become a bust. You got fucking one of your main characters here. Is he actually injured, or are you guys just going to run with this story anyway? The story doesn't make any sense if he's injured. So how are you going to fix it if he's actually injured? But the possibility of it just being a work, let it be a work. With somebody like I said, the tag division, that match is going. You have to shove all these people into the ring so it's watchable. Dom and AJ probably going to be a banger. Solo Jacob, recycled garbage. Becky Lyra, recycled garbage. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus, it doesn't matter. That's going to be the banger. Cody Rhodes, John Cena, not necessarily recycled garbage, but it's going to wear out here soon. I do not think that Cody's going to win. Just looking at the card is not very great. Like I said, probably the best match, like high hopes, high expectations for anything that Rhea and Io are taking part of. Then maybe Gunther and CM Punk, and then I would say John and Cody. But other than that, everything else just seems rather fucking the same. Now, speaking of the same thing, back in WrestleMania, they did the roast of WrestleMania. And it was a one-night event in Vegas at 10:30, 11 o'clock local time at night. And it was hosted and featuring comedian Tony Hinchcliffe. Now, here's where that whole fucking idea went wrong. A lot of people complained because you have the 2-night event of WrestleMania in Las Vegas. People are paying a package deal to go both nights, and that's not just, let's say you're going with just one other person, so it's you and one other person. That's not 2 tickets, it's 4 tickets. And then you're paying for a hotel, you're paying for airfare, and then you're paying for this. And then if you actually wanted people to attend that comedy show, the roast, you would have had people or had the tickets not necessarily be, super expensive. People were complaining that they were so goddamn expensive, and then they didn't sell any tickets. Recently, a show was announced, a couple, I don't really know when they planned this. I'm guessing they would have planned this around the same time they did the roast. There was going to be a show called WWE Late Night featuring Tony Hinchcliffe at SummerSlam, but the whole thing got canceled. The whole thing got canceled because the tickets weren't selling. And this is going to go back to something that me and Tim talked about when we were discussing comedians. And at one point at the end, I think I was the one that brought up Tony Hinchcliffe. We were talking about, like comedians and like what they did to get to the point that they're at now. But we were also talking about like stand-up comedians, like we said, like we were talking about Dave Chappelle. We were talking about like the classics, Carlin and Pryor. We were talking about, he brought up Nate Bargatze, Brian Regan. I'm starting to think that Tony Hinchcliffe isn't much of a comedian anymore. I think there has been a massive downfall of Tony in a couple recent months here, showing from this weird partnership that he did have going on with WWE, him trying to make these shows happen with these wrestlers and have a good night or whatever. I just don't think a lot of people are starting to, like, certain people are starting to realize that Tony isn't funny. But Kill Tony is funny because there's comedians on Kill Tony, like Casey Rocket or Cam Patterson, Ari Maddie. These are the people that like make the show watchable. And then of course you're going to bring on fucking Harlan Williams on your panel. You're going to bring on Adam Ray dressed up as whoever the fuck he wants to dress up as. Recently he came out dressed up as Tony. They did that whole bit. But the show fucking works and the format works because that's how they built the show. And like, I even credit him with what he does do for people and what he does for stand-up comedy. But like, Tony has a bunch of joke books that he gives out to people, but he never writes in one himself, it seems like. I'm not saying that he isn't funny. I just don't know what's going on creatively with him, I guess. So I feel like even WWE officials and people were like, well, we're just going to have to cancel that because that's a waste of money. And I know that it probably, I don't know when this got actually canceled, but recently. But me, myself, like a Mark, a fan, I don't mind what they have been putting out. But yeah, like, I'm excited for SummerSlam. I'm going to watch it. But I do have very low expectations for it. And like this trying to be the big event of the summer, obviously, make it a 2-night event. And we're just going to fill it with the same shit you've been watching. So, and let's make sure that some of these people aren't being overworked because you are losing other people. And let's I will say, let's actually make this prediction. So the Roman and Jey Uso match is the same night as the Punk and Gunther match. So I would think that the tag team match is obviously going to be first, and then the main event will be the World Heavyweight Championship match. Put the tag team, maybe first, even the first fucking match, I don't know, put it mid-card somewhere, mid-card. Have something go down in that match where obviously I want Bronze to win. I want the Bronze to win. And I want Jay and Roman to be pissed. And then once Seth tries to cash in and the bell rings or some shit, I want Jay or Roman to actually fucking help Punk to retain. And let's say Seth tries to cash in. Let's say that's a whole ruse, but watch him fail. Very unlikely. Let's say it's all fake, but the cash in is unsuccessful, so it's all for nothing. Also doesn't make any sense. It makes just the amount of sense of them trying to do the same storyline without Seth Rollins. How about that? Because having Braun walk around with the case doesn't, Bronson Reed walk around with the case, doesn't make any sense. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. It just doesn't look good from my perspective. Let me know what you think. But that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you for listening to this podcast, The Rogue Report, and check out the other one, Safely Controlled Podcast with me and Rob, where we review SCP files. Check out the other content here on the Going with Rogue channel. We have video content, video game content, and you might be seeing me somewhere else There's an older project that I used to be a part of called 3 Inches Deep, and we might be making a revival of that. But just keep your ear to the ground for the next episode. Until then, we'll see you later.